Dear student, today we discuss two new creative questions of percentage. Now question number 3. Afra borrowed some money from a bank with an annual interest of 6%. She paid back 1,344 taka 2 years later. Question number A. What is the profit principals on 100 taka for 2 years? How much was the principal and how much money would she pay back after 10 years? Now we solve the question number A. What is the profit principals? We know that profit principals means amount. Profit principals means amount on 100 taka for 2 years. So at first follow the questions. The annual interest 6% means interest on 100 taka for 1 year is 6 taka. So we write down interest on 100 taka for 1 year is 6 taka. Now we find the 2 years. So interest on 100 taka for 2 years. So 6 multiplied 2, that is 12 taka. So 2 years interest is 12 taka. Now profit principals, that is amount. If we find the amount, then principal plus interest. So here principal is 100 taka and interest 12. So 100 plus 12, that is 112 taka. So 112 taka is the profit principals on 100 taka for 2 years. Now we find the question number B. Solve the question number B. How much was the principal? So principal, here we find the amount, that is profit principals 112 and profit principal 112, then principal 100. Now she paid back 1,344 taka. So paid back, that is the amount of the money. So 1,344. Now we write down, if profit principals 112 taka, then principal 100 taka. If profit principals 1 taka, then principals 100 by 1,112. Now the profit principals 1,344 taka. So 1,000 multiply 1,344 divide by 112. Now we cut, then 12 100 1,200. That is the principal. So answer, principals 1,200. Now question number C. How much money would she pay back after 10 years? Now we find the 10 years interest. At first we find the 10 years interest. So if we find the 10 years interest, then here principal. Now we find the how was the principal. The principal is 1,200. So write down principals 1,200 taka and rate of interest, that is the given condition. Annual interest is 6%, that is the rate of interest 6%, and time after 10 years. So time equal 10 years. Now find interest. So we know the formula of interest is principal multiply rate of interest multiply time divided by 100. Here principal is 1,200, rate of interest 6 and time 10 and then 100. If we cut to 0, then we add multiply 12, 6 and 10, that is 720. It is interest of 10 years, but we find the payback amount of 10 years. So if we find the payback amount of 10 years, so that is the amount of 10 years. So she pay back after 10 years. So after 10 years she pay back, then that is the principal plus interest. So principal is 1,200 and 10 years interest 720. If we add it, then we find the payback amount. So at result 1,920. That is the payback amount of 10 years. Now we solve the question number 4. The question number 4. 50,000 taka was borrowed from a bank and 98,000 taka was paid back 8 years later. Question A. what was the interest on 1 year? Question B, how much annual interest rate was charged on the principal? Question C, at the same rate, how much money will be paid back in 5 years on 40,000 taka? At first, we solved the question number A. What was the interest on 1 year? Now, 50,000 taka borrowed, that is the principal, and 95,000 taka was paid back in 8 years. 98,000 taka, that is the amount. So, if we find the interest on 8 years now, so amount minus principal. So, amount minus principal. So, if we write down the interest on 8 years equal 98,000, that is the amount, minus 50,000, that is principal. So 98,000 minus 50,000, now 48,000 taka. That's interest on 8 years. Now we find the interest in 1 year. So interest on 1 year equal 48,000 divided 8. Now 6,000 taka. Now question number B. How much annual interest rate was charged on the principal? Annual interest rate, that is the rate of interest. So here principal 50,000 taka and interest, that is the 8 years interest, 48,000. So 48,000 and time 8 years. Now we find the rate of interest. So we know that the formula of rate of interest equal interest multiply 100 divide principal multiply time. So interest, here interest is a 48,000 and multiply 100, and principal is 50,000 taka and multiply the time 8 years. Now we cut, then result 12 taka. So 12%. So 12% is the rate of interest. Now question number C. At the same rate, how much money will pay it back in 5 years on 40,000 taka? On 40,000, here that is the principal. In 5 years, time 5 years. So at the same rate means the question, if we follow the question number B, what is the annual interest rate? That is the same rate. So same rate, here same rate is a 12%. Here principal 40,000 taka, rate of interest 12%, and time 5 years. Now payback, if we find the payback amount, so payback means the amount, payback means the interest plus principal. So here we find the interest. So interest, if we know that the formula of interest equal principal multiply rate of interest multiply time divided by 100. Here principals 40,000 multiply rate of interest 12% and time 5 years. Divide 100. Now we cut and multiply. Then result 24,000 taka. That is the interest on 5 years. Now payback money in 5 years. Payback, if we find the payback money in 5 years, now principal plus interest. So principal, here principal 40,000 taka and interest 24,000 taka. So added the two amount, then 64,000 taka. Answer 64,000 taka. That is the payback amount in 5 years on 40,000 taka.